I'm Samantha Black, Editor-in-Chief of ScienceBoard, and I'm thrilled to be here today with Juliana Blum, who is co-founder and Executive Vice President of Corporate Development at Humacyte. Thanks for joining us today, Juliana.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you on as part of our AWAM coverage, All Women, All Month in March. First, we're going to start off really high level, and I'd like for you to start off by telling us a little bit about your company and the unique role that Humacyte plays in the biotech pharma space.
Sure. Humacyte is a category-defining organization. We're really the first to demonstrate the possibility of regenerative medicine. We have a human acellular tissue engineering platform that creates acellular human tissues for implant that once implanted into the patient, they remodel and regenerate into the patient's living tissues. And we've now been at this for about 17 years, and we have almost 500 patients on study across multiple clinical trials that demonstrate the impact of our human acellular vessel to regenerate and to remodel into the patient's own vascular after implant. And we're looking at multiple different indications to treat with this vascular, this human acellular vessel, from arteriovenous access for dialysis patients to peripheral arterial disease and patients who need vascular repair reconstruction after vascular trauma. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. We can use our bioengineering platform to work on projects to engineer complex tissues and maybe even one day organs. So this really is going to change how we think about medical care and medical therapies for patients in the future.
Yeah, it's almost like a sci-fi movie, right? You know, the science is just incredible.
we often say we're turning, sci-fi into sci-fact, right? Because it is very much science fiction, or it seems to be science fiction, but we're actually out there doing it and proving it.
Amazing. So how did you get into this? Why are you doing this? It seems like, a very innovative technology. So can you just tell us a little bit about your how and why you're in this business?
Sure. Well, my why has always been patients. I have always been focused on wanting to improve patient lives or help patients in need in some type of way. And really, throughout my academic career, I was early on focused on going to medical school and training to be a physician, and really thought that was the best way for me to impact patients' lives. I had the opportunity in undergrad to work with two awesome female professors who encouraged me to get into research. And so I had the opportunity as a junior and senior in undergrad to do some life sciences research, more on the molecular biology side, but nonetheless, hands-on benchtop research. And I was hooked on the possibility of translating, benchtop research into bedside technologies. And from there on, I decided to go to graduate school, got my PhD in molecular biology and gene therapy, and then connected with Laura Nicholson, our founder at Humacyte, when I started as a postdoc at Duke. And so for me, it's been great from the mid 90s having access to just super smart, intelligent female professors and having access to those STEM opportunities. I think for me, that's really helped shape who I am and kind of driven me in this direction to be an innovator and to impact patients' lives through creating new technologies and new therapies.
That's amazing. And I love that. I love that story that from the very beginning, you kind of had those female role models in the sciences who were encouraging you and really pushing you to be on the cutting edge, even from a really early age. I love that. I love that. So obviously, that's something that's translated into Humacyte today. So, it's an important topic and one that we definitely want to shed light on, that inclusion and diversity are so important. So can you tell us a little bit about how Humacyte is approaching that and maybe how it's different from how others in the industry might be approaching it?
Sure, would love to. And we've always thought about diversity and inclusion at Humacyte, even before it was more popularized as DE&I effort. And I can't speak for the industry at large, but at Humacyte, we're proud, just so proud to be female-founded, female-led, Kathleen Sebelius chairs our board. And so it's great to see that highlight of women in the scientific and medical research space. And we've continued kind of with a push to be diverse and inclusive, and we continue to hire top-notch talent across all different types of diversities. And it's really a focus of ours. We want to promote that we include everyone, because it is. I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? Because we all better one another when we work together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the end goal. And if we can get there, we should leverage any avenue that we can to get there in the end.
Exactly. And, it's not perfect, and we know we're not perfect either. And it's been a continuous process. We've worked long and hard to figure out ways to interact with our teams and talk about diversity and inclusion. And how do we promote that within our organization and outside of the four walls of our organization into the communities that surround us as well? I think for us, back in 2020, we took a step back when there was a lot of change and disruption going on with the pandemic and with the civil unrest that was unfolding in front of us. And we really took the time to listen to our employees. We wanted our team members to talk to us about issues that might have been a little uncomfortable to bring forward, previously or in past times. And we had meetings where we just listened. There was no topics, there was no agenda. It was, please come and share and be comfortable knowing you can share in those environments. And we really opened up, the dialogue to listen. And I think when we listened to our teams and appreciated their different diverse perspectives, we were able to come up with an action plan that helped us put action to our words, right? Because it's one thing to always talk about doing something or saying you're going to work on this effort or mention it would be good to do these things. But it's different to really take action and to take the collective thought of all of our teams and say, okay, what means the most to us here in our Humacyte family? What means the most to our teams in their at-home families? And then how do we also share that with the communities that surround us? So we've spent quite a bit of time thinking about those diversity and inclusion across all the different groups. We put in place the DE&I champion at Humacyte back in early 2021, which for a small company was, not often done, but we wanted to show not only our employees and our team members, but also the external world that this meant a lot to us and it was important. And so that DE&I champion helps us to integrate those efforts into our organization through running book clubs, through bringing in key speakers who can talk about different issues or different ways to coach and mentor our employees. And then we've also done quite a bit of work volunteering and donating into our communities to really help just, set an example for who we want the world to be and how we want it to look like what we're trying to do.
That's amazing. And I really applaud you for those efforts because I know that it's something that not everybody does and it's not something that you have to do. And so I think it's important. And so I just think it's fantastic that you and the company are pursuing those avenues and really making sure that it's a important part of your business. So amazing job there.
And it's so easy, right? I mean, it's so easy to put the kind back in human kindness, right? And that's where I think we are, right? We're learning that everyone around us and next to us, in front of us and behind us are just as important as the individual themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, awesome. So it's narrowing in a little bit. So diversity inclusion is super important, but we're here to talk about women in bio, women in biotech. So being an academic and then transitioning into industry as a female, what advice do you have to give to other female scientists, other entrepreneurs about maybe starting their own business or maybe just even being a female in the industry? What are some words of wisdom that you can share with them?
Sure. I think it's most important to believe in yourself and be confident, right? I think many people sometimes let doubt kind of creep in, but you have to be confident and you have to believe in your ideas, especially as you're thinking about starting a company or pushing a company to the next level, or working on a research experiment in an academic lab, or whatever it might be, you as the individual have to be confident and believe in whatever it is you're doing. But I would say with that is the ability to acknowledge when you might have to be adaptable and pivot, right? The road you lay out may not be the road that actually happens. And so you kind of have to be one step ahead of yourself to say, well, I'm really confident for my example, we knew this technology was going to work. It was going to be regenerative. But how did we make the rest of the world see that? And how did we relate that to individuals trying to understand what we were doing? How did we demonstrate to FDA that, this product was safe and we should move into clinical trials? We've had to pivot along the way, but we never took no, or you can't do that as the final answer. We always kind of went back and said, okay, if this isn't how we thought it would play out, how do we make this happen so we can move our product or our technology one step further down the path? And I think for many women and for everyone really out there who's trying something new or innovative, first of its kind, you have to be confident and just focused on hitting your end game, and know that the road might not be a straight road to that end game.
It never is, actually.
ever.
So, that's great advice. And I think that, for a lot of people out there, that's going to resonate. And I think that, you just being self-assured and just trusting yourself, I think that's amazing advice. And I think that that message will speak to a lot of people. So thank you for sharing that. And then last question, you guys have so much exciting stuff going on. So can you share a little bit about what's next for Humacyte and the technology? And maybe like what's next for you? I know you're a co-founder. So what's exciting for you in the future?
Sure. So we do have a lot going on at Humacyte. And, since we've gone public as of last year, we've had the ability to really showcase at a different level all of the great things we've been doing for the last 17 years. We have 3 clinical trial programs that are well underway, and we're anxiously waiting for those to finish up. We're waiting to submit our BLA to FDA for our first product indication to get approval and get that on the market. But for me as a scientist, what I find most exciting and what drives me every day to continue pushing down this marathon is all of the research and discovery and the pipeline work we're now able to do and focus on. Taking that acellular engineering technology to the next level and developing complex tissue systems and possibly even organs one day. It's just exciting to know that we'll be able to hopefully bring to market and to patients a new opportunity for a whole host of other opportunities, whether it's a biovascular pancreas to help type 1 diabetes patients, or an organ one day for patients who are waiting for kidneys or lungs or livers. And that wait list is so long, and those patients are just so in need of additional options. For me as a scientist, I love to know that we're touching and we're impacting patients more and more broadly every year, kind of every turn of our organization. So for me, I really kind of go back into how do I continue to think about that benchtop to bedside potential? And how do we take this technology to the next level to create new opportunities and new product therapies for patients?
That's awesome. Yeah, such important work. So we wish you the best. Continue all the amazing work that you're doing. Really excited to see what's gonna be in the works for Humacyte and for you. And so just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, Juliana. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you. It was a privilege being here. And I hope that everyone out there listening really sticks to their guns and does the next best great thing, because there is just so much wonderful opportunity that lies ahead in all of the generations that are working on initiatives now and those that are kind of coming up and becoming their own. So thank you for having me.